Here's Johnny. Thank you, Ed. Boom, 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 boom. Don't be sipping on any kind of intoxicating alcoholic beverages. And how much less should you be smoking any drugs of choice of illegal substances or abusing any over-the-counter drugs, being on the lights in a pharmacy. If you yourself, like me, is supposed to be in recovery. And neither nor should you be laid back, getting some of such abortion. If you know you're supposed to be a female who is pro-life, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And hopefully we don't have any woman, females carrying fetuses and be in an abortionist clinic with other like-minded females, permitting a monster, an animal of an abortionist or abortionist to be aborting, human life, future infants or babies until 6 in the morning, Even when it comes to a matter of contemplating aborting a future infant or baby who has become the result of developments of a sexual assault or rape. I mean, for God's sake, just have the baby and then put it up for adoption. That would be the humane and sane thing to do. And speaking upon those matters, now it comes to mind as an icebreaker, that is. Not that that's the original subject matter or topic of discussion to be debated, of giving an argument with the many different views and opinions to be affiliated or associated with and representing some such thereof. But then, unfortunately, I feel compelled to give one of my present neighbors from damn hell among the public nuisances of problem neighbors 15 minutes of shame for the present social media broadcast of a video. And hopefully as I go about doing so, express myself in due regard in reference to his character, personality, psyche, and etcetera, including his personality be thrown in the mix. And as I could try to be kosher about it, then to once again destroy my testimony as one who is supposed to be a believer in God, as I had professed, some such beliefs in our Lord and Savior Christ, or as I myself am supposed to be a member of the household of faith or the family of God, Yeah. And regardless of how certain persons be really attempting to get upon other person's last nerves. So I can only imagine how the likes are going to be headhunting you know, believers in God or Christians, being the few real true Christians, you know, in a futuristic, biblically prophetic time, you know, before the end of the world and the second coming of Christ, you know, and not counting those false brethren, false prophets, or antichrist, who are other likes the majority of most churchgoers or whatever religious denominations, closet devil worshippers, you know. Anyway, though, getting back to some such on a lighter note of interest, not that I would mean to seem and sound like I'm wagging the dog, as the Trump supporter, MAGA, you know, wagging the dog, changing the subject. But then that old fart, Joe Biden, has finally done the right thing by just, you know, conceding his run for the presidency of the USA. And whereas the Democrats or Dixiecrats have put his vice president, Pamela Harris, you know, in the, to run for the presidency of the USA, much rather than stay. You know, a lot she will do, huh? At some such a given moment in time. Who is supposed to be a mixed breed like my big brother. Former ex supposed so-called historical black president of the USA, being none other than President Barack Hussein Obama. Where some think him or he himself to be, you know, the last and final false prophet and or antichrist, among some of such others to be possibly considered. Some even thought I myself to possibly be that of the same as said in question form of previous mentioned. But I would rather stand with God and be judged by the world than to stand with the world and be judged by God, as I'm one of the few real or true believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants, believe it or not. And moving right on. Anyway, getting back to the original subject matter, and hopefully, I won't have to, debate this topic of discussion or give my views and opinion for this present given argument in time too soon up again, as misery loves company. You know, that middle spot in my mind is reserved for the creator of the universe, not some demon-possessed, poot-butt, pissant male character of the same sex who represents less manhood than a much more familiar cocksucking and balls licking and prick, rat, and faggot, and as himself is one of the local drug pushers. Some of such my present worcest neighbors from damn hell, one of the worcest neighborhood communities, as he is the likes of them, or some such the worstest neighbors from down hell. But anyway, though, I get back to the building. I mean, it's like he was laying for me, And I'm like, what in the world, Starting up again, I kid you not. And I'm like, could you please, leave me alone? He rode his bike up on me again, as I'm taking the detour. He he does a U-turn and come behind me and get the mouth and all. I'm like, because I after he had done that as he did, I said, whatever. He said, say what? Now I'm like, from there, get a life or get a jail cell. Then he rolled off. I'm like, the nerve of him, he's keeping this up, keeps assuming that he has a legit personal vendetta grudge match with me or against my person, to speak appropriate words, because it is against me then for me. And I'm like, man, stupid does this, stupid feel. If you're not gonna, push the envelope, then leave it alone. Your bark is worse than your bite, Okay. I mean, the compliment or one liner out of what you call vintage classic movie flick or Hollywood or Hollywood California motion picture production, and the majority of most celebrities are weird, then because they sold their souls, their immortal human souls, to the devil. And as that one line out of this one film, I think you all would know which one I'm talking about. And as it goes, something like this here, and the compliment, some such line of thought that I mentioned earlier, whereas he keeps picking at me like, I mean, craziness or insanity is to do the same thing and expect different results. After his major compared to minor, or after his maximum power play did not pan out, so he continues to attempt to harass, intimidate, persecute, terrorize, traumatize, or bully me with his minimum power plays on a daily, nightly basis. Like, I'm like, what are you trying to do? Kill me by boring me to death, But then the compliment, that one liner from a film that I was thinking about, I think you all know which one I'm talking about, where as one of the male characters in it says, if I wanted you dead, you would have been dead a long time ago. So if he himself is not going to kill me, why don't he just cut the crap? Because he's making himself look real foolish, But then if something could possibly happen to me, he has a paper trail, pretty much so, practically, if not possibly, as long as the Great Wall of China, as the boys in blue, the police would know that I have had problems with him. He'll start something, it change up back and forth, like good cop, bad cop routine. Not that he's a cop of any kind, but if anything, he's a crook. One of the bad boys otherwise, though there are dirty cops. Whereas he'd be more obvious at one time and be more sly another time. So he tried that with me today, rode his bike up on me, and then he's like saying, I'm like saying, whatever, after he had done that as he did. And then he said, say what? And then I said, get a life or get a jail cell. That's what I said. Do I stutter? And so then I meet him later, and now he's like making like one who's less obvious and likewise less aggressive compared to earlier. Whereas I'm coming back into the building. Here he is, like as I'm supposed to be going into my apartment, he's coming out of his apartment. Whereas he's on the same floor level that I'm on, a few apartment doors down from me. I'm not saying the nerve of this character, And then he's like supposed to be on the cell phone and say, I gotta wash my back, talking to some second party. I gotta wash my back because of you. And I'm like, I'm thinking, well, I kind of mumbled off it or said, not that I don't fear anybody, anything. God is not giving us the spirit of fear, but he's giving us power. I'm not saying, you need to be quiet and just quit messing with me, Yeah, his bark is worse than his bite, He just keeps this going. I mean, I already gave y'all a history in time past of how he has gone about attempting to, give me the business, from following me into the business office of the management, at some such given on time, was all I had in mind to do was go in there to try to renew my apartment room lease. And now the time has come for me to do so again. And at that given on time, he had took to flip the script, make it seem like he's the victim. To him sitting on a stoop outside the building in the dead of night, it may well being in the hot summertime, you know, as it happened in the cold winter time. Likewise, unfavorable weather temps or phenomenal record-breaking ones. And he's like, "What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?" Like, what do you mean, what's up? Yeah, talking smack on the phone line about blah blah blah. I said, so what? You know. So I felt threatened. I called the police on him that time. And then he rode his bike up on me still at another time. He did that today, this time as well as he done that. And he had done that, did that. Well, excuse pardon, forgive me for butchering the English language of the American dialect with all these grammatical uses, you know, some such quality and quantity, you know. And so I had to call the police on him for that criminal incident, as he just rode his bike up on me and rolled past me as he rode in his bike in the back of me and then rode alongside me and just a few inches from my physical body and didn't bother to say excuse me. So that told me he did that on purpose. Till at one time or another, he's running down the sidewalk behind me. Wait till I exit the building to pull that crap, that bogus crap. With one hand in his coat or jacket pocket like he's packing heat. And whereas I'm having to change my mind about catching a train for the train station right across the street from the building here. And thought to take a bus instead to get wherever it is I had to go at that given moment time. Two, at one time I'm coming back from the hospital. It's like he's laying for me. He's in the front entrance and exit where the building, as I'm saying, or witness, notice, and witness him like so, he himself. So I take a detour, I do a U-turn to enter the building through one of two back doors to the building. And, you know, here it is, he come out of nowhere. Because he would usually go in and out of one back door for my use atmosphere, the premises of properties, whereas he himself had something propped in between the door and the border, being because the lock mechanism is messed up compared to the other back door where you can come and go as you please quite easily with your key. And I barely got into my apartment and closed and locked my door, and he's standing outside my apartment door, mouthing off quite a bit of cuss words and threats and so forth, you know, and misbehaving like he himself is practically, if not possible, about to kick my apartment door in. So I had to call the police on him for that criminal incident in his own right, and where my phone was about to die. But fortunately, I had managed to get off an emergency tail call to the police, and that was a blessing. And all the while, I charged up my cell phone, you know. And I had just come back from the hospital feeling sick as a dog, so I didn't appreciate that either. So anyway, though, let me just conclude matters here and now. I just thought to share with you all his latest song, blah, 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 blah. He's misbehaving like an overgrown baby boy, you know, about to have an accident on himself, you know. Talk about Mr. Duty Wipe Jaws, President-elect. But then if you all have not gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, then accept him as he is for yourself now so that you don't have to go to hell, but so that you can go to heaven. We out. Peace.